the beauty. He's full in all the six opulences that a Bhagavan has. And that obviously, so he is very attractive. And that's why the gopis of the women of Mathura are very much eager to see him and they run towards him. And when they saw their eyes, within their hearts, they start embracing Krishna and Balaram to their fullest desire. Their body, all the symptoms that we see are described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Siksastaka. Also, when or even the acharyas, they say when Krishna's realization happens, like hair standing on the end, they feel that. So they feel that goosebumps, like because they have realized Krishna or embraced Krishna within their heart, and their heart's desire from long has been finally fulfilled. And while Krishna and Balaram were walking through the city, they lay flowers, they apply sandalwood paste, they do all the services to them. And in the meantime, the Brahmanas also respectfully um, applies and like throws sandalwood water, sprinkles sandalwood water and give flowers to Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna and Balaram are very much happy with all the service. After seeing them, the residents of Mathura, they start discussing about the glories of the people of Vrindavan. Why? Because just by getting a glimpse of Krishna and Balaram, they got so much ecstasy and so much happiness. Think about the residents of Vrindavan who get the opportunity to see Krishna from morning to evening. Every day, even the elderly Gopas and Gopis, when they see Krishna when he is going to tend to the cows in the morning, and finally when in the evening they see Krishna again while coming back, and then they see how much fortunate are the people of Vrindavana that they see Krishna and Balaram every day, and all the fortunate Gopa boys and Gopis who play with Krishna throughout the day. So they always they just keep on discussing about how glorious or how fortunate the people in Vrindavan are also. And we take from that understanding also, right? So which is if we associate with Krishna, it's not easy. Bahunam janmanamante gnanaman yate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. It is not easy to come to the point of Krishna consciousness where we are doing this practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. Of course, this Vaidhi Bhakti, when it matures and we get the mercy of the senior Vaishnavas, then we will also be able to go to the next level, which is the class. So the Raganuga Bhakti means if we follow associates of Krishna in the pastimes that he did in Vrindavana and Gokula, then we also get the same uh, mood, and then we will be able to. And that's not artificial; it has to reveal by itself. But for that, we have to practice. So there are different levels. So we are in the people will be in the materialistic life. Then they do some rituals. Even after doing some rituals, they will reach to the level of some devotional service. But if we reach to the level of pure devotional service by keep practicing, then that is the topmost. And once we reach that level, we obviously will become Mahatmas. We are all on the path to become Mahatmas. And there is no need of having like these pastimes are always there to attract us. But then we don't have to artificially think that I want to be here like this personality. We have to focus on the instructions of the acharyas, which is to chant and follow the four regulative principles. If we do that, then Krishna will immediately reveal himself and we'll see how. So then, as Krishna walks through the streets of Mathura, he comes across a washerman. He is the head washerman who takes care of all the king's nice clothes. And Krishna and Balaram they see the washerman and they see the nice clothes and they want to wear them. And they approach the washerman and say that, hey, washerman, can you give us some nice clothes? And they promise him that you will get good fortune in return. What does the washerman do? He is overcome with arrogance and demoniac nature. Why? Because of bad association. What does he do? Instead of becoming happy that the Supreme Personality of Godhead came and asking something, he becomes angry. He abuses Krishna and Balaram, saying that you boys live in the forest, you don't have any money, you are like wandering between here and there. how dare you come and ask the clothes of the king? Get away from here. If you don't go, I'm going to order the soldiers to punish you. And what happens then? Krishna doesn't. He becomes very angry, and with he takes his hand and strikes a single blow on his head, and that severs the head of the washerman from his body, and he falls dead. And then Krishna and Balaram pick up the nice clothes from the that are there, and they dress themselves. What we can understand from this is there is Krishna is not a beggar. He doesn't come there to ask for something. It is his sweet free will. Whatever he wants, he can take. This whole material world is his manifestation. It is for us to give whatever Krishna is asking for. Even if he doesn't ask, we give. But Krishna is asking Patram Pushpam Phalam Tvayam means give me with love and I will reciprocate. And he does promise, saying that if you give it, you will get great fortune. But what we do, we are overcome by arrogance. Why do we have arrogance? Same in the material world. If you know, an MLA or MP, then we feel like, oh, we are great. We know a politician or we know a person. We are very rich. We are blinded by that arrogance and pride, and we think that there is nobody else that can do any harm for us. And of course, we all have to face death sooner or later. But before that, if we realize that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, and in Ishopanishad, it is said that everything that is moving or unmoving is created by the Supreme Lord. If we have to take what is our quota, and even that one, if we are devotees, we'll offer it back to Krishna. And we should be it is considered to be very fortunate if Krishna asks us for something, but he doesn't ask, but we only want to give. But see here, if Krishna really asks, we should be ready to offer in everything. And what we can also understand that the the angas of Krishna are transcendental. It might be his hand, but it can transform into a sword and then cut anything like right away. So he severs the head of the washerman. So and we also, some acharyas, they have written the past lives of the washerman. And when we listen to Ramayana, we always have this inherent anger towards a washerman in that story, right? When Mother Sita goes through the fire after she was rescued by Lord Ram and his army to prove her chastity, and that is a known fact to everyone. This washerman from Ramayana, when Sita was brought back, he, out of his arrogance and whatever be the reason, he passes the comments saying that, oh, Sita has spent so much time in Ravana's palace, she is not pure. But she went through the test, but how arrogant he is that he still passes the comment. And when we are reading that, it feels very much sad because Lord Ram, out of his compulsion, he being the king, had to listen to what his uh, praja are thinking, like the citizens of the country are thinking, and he has to respect their thought processes, even though they are wrong. And he sends Mother Sita again to the forest, even though she is pregnant. Then, when we hear that, we always think that why did this watchman pass that comment? Is he not enough for Mother Sita? And if imagine that we were in the place of the husband and somebody accuses the wife, we immediately feel like hitting them or even punishing them. But Lord Ram, he came on a purpose. He came as a king. He restricted himself and did that. But Krishna, he came in his full opulence. He did not come with any restrictions. He is the supreme personality in complete um, freedom, you can say. Or no, he is always free, but without any restrictions. He did not restrict himself as a king. He did not restrict himself as um, a son. I mean, like any other material restrictions that we have, that he did not restrict himself, or even like a politician or anything. He could do whatever he want. So what did he do? He, because of this past sin also, he did not even wait. He just gave the initial test that are you still the same or not? Or did you change? If we change, Krishna is ready to accept us back. So, but when he said, he approached himself and went and asked, uh, "Can you give some nice clothes?" This washerman did not agree. So immediately his head was severed from his body, and then we feel that the justice was served. This washerman, comments he passed, that he finally got what he was supposed to get. And Krishna, without any restrictions, he did not even think twice, that he gave the punishment right away. So while this is happening, there was a weaver who immediately, he was a devotee. He has been always thinking of Krishna and Balaram, um, hearing to their pastimes from Vrindavan, and he was very much attracted to serving them. He always used to think of them, and he immediately brings all the nice clothing and dresses both Krishna and Balaram, in addition to the clothes that they picked. So then Krishna becomes very much pleased with the tailor, and gives him Sarupya Mukti. Means after the tailor leaves the body, he would be liberated to get the 400 form of Narayana exactly in the Vaikuntha planets. And we might ask, why is it Sarupya Mukti? Because he was meditating on the transcendental form of Krishna always. Like and it was not from this lifetime. He was attracted to Krishna and his previous avatars also very much well. So, and then before even leaving his body, Krishna gives him sufficient opulence. It's not like we um, give everything to Krishna, and at the end of the life we have to all suffer, and then finally the liberation comes. No, if Krishna takes the things that we are giving, first of all, Krishna will be very hesitant to take the things from us, because he becomes obliged to give back, and he only takes from the pure devotees. But here in this case, he took the clothes that the weaver gave, and as soon as he took, he gave him in multiple times. He gave all the opulence. And one thing we have to understand is, once we attain Krishna consciousness, the pure love of Krishna, from that point onwards, we are no longer subject to all the restrictions or rules and regulations in the material world. But that is a very advanced topic. So that's why when we see some exalted devotees, and we should not be looking at them from the materialistic standpoint of view. So we should always see them from, we should not even think that, oh, are they following the same things as I am doing? But without even us thinking, the pure devotees will automatically follow the instructions by themselves, because Yadyad Acharya Tatat Evati Itara Jana means whatever learned people do, the ordinary people they follow. So when we become pure devotee, although the Krishna's love is already, if we get Krishna's love, the topmost thing that we are hankering for, after that any life that we spend is automatically fruitful, is automatically successful, even though we don't follow the regulative principles and instruction. But then we, in this Krishna conscious movement, are being leading other people by example, so we still continue to follow those things. So that's why the great devotees, they continue to do the regulative principles. But Krishna grants this weaver great opulence for sense enjoyment also for the rest of his life. And finally, at the end, he will get Sarupamukti, because he is always meditating on the form of the Lord. Because in the previous life, he was the tailor who stitched the clothes for Lord Rama and Lakshmana. And when he was stitching the clothes, he was always meditating. Oh, I want the opportunity to dress this, because Lord Rama was king, right? So the tailor would stitch the clothes that will be taken by the soldiers, taken to the king, into the palace, and then the king would wear. But then he always wanted, wow, what if I get an opportunity to dress Lord Ram and Lakshmana? It would be very fortunate for me. So he was meditating, 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 and this in this lifetime, he Krishna granted the desire where he could personally dress Krishna. So then Krishna then goes to visit a florist, a flower person. His name is Sudama. So you see that Krishna himself went to the washerman, and then while this whole episode was going on with the washerman, the weaver saw, and he approached himself to Krishna and Balarama and offered the clothes. But then this Sudama, he was a florist. He was sitting in his own house, not knowing all the things that are happening around. But then Krishna and Balaram personally visited him directly. Why? Because he also was meditating on Krishna. Whenever uh, for collecting the flowers, he used to visit Vrindavana frequently, and then from far he used to see the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram that they were doing, and always get being attracted to them. He would meditate on them and keep worshipping Krishna in his heart and all. So, and from this pastime, we can understand that if we constantly keep on meditating on Krishna, even though we don't ask, Krishna will come into our lives. So Krishna then immediately comes when he comes, the florist immediately comes out, and out of great devotion, he falls on his face and offers obeisances. And then he offers a nice seed to Krishna and Balaram, and gives flowers, betel nuts, and chandana. And Krishna and Balaram, they become very much satisfied, and even the florist, as always, keeps a special mala garland for Krishna, and he brings that out and he offers. Then Krishna tells to the florist, "Whatever benediction you want, I'm going to grant." So what does the florist say? And we know he is a great devotee. So he will say, "So api varve achalam bhaktim tasmin evakilatmani tad bhakteshu sach sauhardam Bhuteshu cha dayam param." Means Sudama says that he asks only three benedictions, which is unshakable devotion for Krishna, who is the super soul of all existence. He also asks for friendship with all his devotees, and finally the transcendental compassion for all living beings. See, this is the three things that we also have to ask from Krishna. That is, always be in the service of Krishna, and be in good association, being in a friendly association with the devotees, so we can render service to each other. The six loving exchanges, which are like uh, exchanging prasadam, exchanging gifts, and also revealing one's mind, and keeping what the other devotees share with into us very confidential, and and uh, I mean, be a trustworthy person. And then finally, we have to be all compassionate to the living beings. So when we come to Krishna consciousness and we see other people who are not following Krishna consciousness, we should not have the pride saying that, hey, Punam Janmanamante, I became a Mahatma now, or at least I'm on the path of Mahatma. Who are these people who don't even know anything about the purpose of life? No, we have to become immediately compassionate. And how we can develop the compassion? Very easy. We just try to relate with them. We have been those living entities who are overcome by the different kama, krodha, lava, mata, mahatsarya. So those, and it is just a matter of time that they also will become devotees. And actually, Krishna is giving us the responsibility to bring them to Krishna consciousness, because preaching is the essence. We don't want to be selfish by taking everything ourselves and stop there. If at all the devotees did not even if the devotees who brought us to Krishna consciousness kept everything to themselves as great treasure, we would have been those living entities that we have been suffering life after life. Because they spread it and we are able to taste this, or come into this very uh, like a rare opportunity, get this rare opportunity to render service to Krishna and transform our lives and go back home, back to Godhead. We should do this more. And of course, Krishna says that there are like in chapter 12, Krishna says, uh, very dear to me, like six or seven verses where he says, that devotee is very dear to me. And also in chapter 18, he says, that devotee who spreads the message of this Bhagavad Gita to all the other people is very dear to me. So we can easily win Krishna's love and mercy by being compassionate to other living beings. So even we know from our day-to-day life, a father has so many children. Some children might be intelligent and some may not be intelligent. But if we fight with among the siblings, the father's heart will always be sad, right? So same thing. But if a person who is intelligent will engage the other person who is not so intelligent and brings him closer to the Supreme Lord, his father, then the father will use more mercy to the person who is helping the other siblings. And that's also what we read uh, from the previous canto, where Narada instructs the Prachetas also. These three things seem to be the like the things that will bring that will win the mercy of Krishna very easily. So it says, Dayaya sarva bhuteshu santushtya yena kenava sarvendriyopashantya cha tushyati asu janardana. By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other with the things that we have, and restricting the senses from sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead Janardana. So this is the secret. If we want to win Krishna's mercy, the process is very quick. Only three things, which is continue to render service to Krishna by doing Vaidhi Bhakti or other things, and always be satisfied with the things that we got, and in association with the devotees. That don't think that, oh, this devotee got more service, I got less. No, whatever Krishna gives, you be satisfied. And finally, if we show mercy to the living entities, then we will see Krishna's mercy flowing into our life very, very quickly. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, the best way to show mercy to the is by spreading Krishna consciousness. The entire world is suffering for want of knowledge. People should know that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of everything. Knowing this, everyone should directly engage in his devotional service. Those who are actually learned, advanced in spiritual understanding, should preach Krishna consciousness all over the world so that the people may take it and make it their life successful. So that is the showing compassion to the other living entities. And the next one is, how can we be always satisfied by chanting? That satisfaction is not so easy. Our mind will keep on taking, you did not have this, you did not have this, you did not have this, or I want this, I want this. But if we focus on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we will be able to get that satisfaction. And though, so don't think that satisfaction and this um, um, chanting or separate. They are hand to hand. They go hand in hand. As soon as we chant, we all immediately get the satisfaction also. And only when we are able to satisfy, we will be able to preach well also. So sometimes preaching will not have big impact. Why? Because if our heart is not satisfied, then how can we? And it's a heart to heart connection. This Krishna consciousness. It's not like superficially we can pretend that we are happy, and if we preach, Krishna knows he is the Bhavagrahi Janardana. He knows within our heart we are not satisfied, and the impact of our preaching will also not be there. But if we ourselves are very satisfied with the things that we have, our impact of preaching will be much higher. And then finally, if we control the senses, then our mind will automatically be engaged. So everything is coming back to chanting. If we keep on chanting, we can control our senses, means render service to Krishna always. We can be always satisfied. So when we are in the association of devotees, we don't have this envy, jealousy, or things, and we always make others devotees happy with whatever less or more that we have. And finally, with that pure heart, if we preach, then the impact will be multifold. Okay, so then Krishna continues to walk. Now that he had nice clothes, he had nice flowers to decorate. Um, then he also has nice clothing decorations from the weaver. He wanted nice perfumes and sandalwood on his for decoration. So as he leaves the florist place, they come across a hunchback woman. Um, Means like she is bent. She's also she's her name is Kubja, and but she's also called Trivakra. Krishna is called Tribanga because he has bends in three places, and it is very attractive. But this woman, she is Trivakra, means like she's also bent in three places, but they are not very attractive. So although she was young, she was bent, and she has a hunchback on her back. And but she was a maid servant of Kamsa. She knows how to uh, uh, create nice sandalwood pulp and apply them and make nice perfumes from it. And Krishna stops her and she says that, hey, jokingly, he says that, hey, how come this beautiful woman, where are you going? Like, I want the sandalwood pulp, give me that sandalwood, apply to me. And see, like, what did the washerman do? He was very angry. Then This lady, she could also be very angry. She also could say that, hey, I'm a worker in the court of Kamsa, but and then can deny his request. But what she says, she immediately became very much captivated by Krishna and Balaram, and she immediately applies the sandalwood pulp all over their body with great satisfaction and devotion. She doesn't even care that she was in the marketplace. Everybody is looking at her. That she is a maidservant of Kamsa and she is supposed to only render service to the king. She doesn't even care what would happen afterwards to her life. She just applies the sandalwood to Krishna and Balaram, and she pleases them very well. And being pleased by the Krishna, then Krishna thinks, how can I reward her? He can do everything he wants, right? Because he's the supreme personality of Godhead. So what does he do? He puts his toe on her legs, and with the finger he puts the finger on his her chin and lifts her up. And with that, all her three vakras are immediately um, cured, and she becomes turns into a very beautiful woman, very much attracted. And she, on the other hand, she also was overcome by lusty feelings for Krishna, and she starts pulling Krishna's dress to asking him to come to her house. And we can learn so many things. One is, if Krishna comes and asks, if we are attracted, then without our any of our control, also we immediately render service to Krishna. But that comes with so much practice, because this Kubja, she was Surpanaka in her previous life, and she was very much attracted to Lord Ram. And when she tries to go, Ram sends her to Lakshmana. Lakshmana says, "Oh, if you want me, I will become you will become a servant like me." So finally, she tries to hurt or kill Mother Sita, because she thinks that she is the one that is in the way of attaining Lord Ram. But and then Lakshmana punishes her by cutting her nose, and we know that story, right? But she was, and then she does a tapasya to Lord Shiva, saying that she wants Krishna. But you see the difference here. The difference here between the gopis and Kubja is, the gopis are rendering service to Krishna without any self desire. Their satisfaction is only in Krishna becoming happy. But the Kubja is not at the level of the gopis. She is on a different rasa. She wants to render service to Krishna to also satisfy her lust. But of course, her lust is not for material things. Her lust is only for the Supreme Lord. Of course, Krishna being the Supreme Lord, and he did not come with any restrictions. He tells to Kubja, I came on a duty. I will come after my duty is done. And of course, he goes back. He goes on his walk towards the palace. Kubja comes back later in the past times. We'll read that later. So now, so we have 15 minutes. Krishna breaks the sacrificial vow. So Kamsa has arranged for this great sacrifice in Mathura, and he puts the Shivadanas there, to as a thing to worship, and it's called the Dhanur Yagna. Means in that yagna you worship the one of a transcendental Dhanush, or the bow. And Krishna and Balaram approach the cow, and as soon when they try to go near the bow, the caretakers of the bow, or the guards, they warn Krishna and Balaram to not go near it. And but they don't listen to them, and they go near the bow. But the caretakers think that, oh, what are these two boys? What can they do with the bow? And they don't pay much attention. But as soon as the Krishna he comes near, he lifts the bow with his one hand, tries the string, and pulls the string exactly like Rama pulls the Shivadanas. And the same way that he broke the bow that broke at the time. This bow also breaks, and it's broke in the middle into two parts. And how easy was it to break? Just like when a elephant rampages the sugarcane field, the sugarcane sticks, they break like anything. So similarly, the thing broke, and then that made a very loud noise. And then that noise was so loud, Kamsa could hear it, and all his fears have come now again. That he has been living a fearful life, And now started. He got the glimpse, or he got an indication that, oh, maybe my end is near. Because that was the loud sound, and nobody could imagine that the bow could be broken. And then the caretakers become very angry, and they shout at Krishna, arrest him, kill him." And then Krishna and Balaram, when they were surrounded, each one takes one piece of the bow, and they start beating and killing the caretakers. And Kamsa he understands what this tussle was going on, and he sends more soldiers to fight and stop them and kill them. And but Krishna and Balaram, they continue fighting, and they kill lot of soldiers of Kamsa. So then Kamsa understood the situation. These are not ordinary boys. This is the eighth son of Devaki who is here to kill me. And he was very much agitated. And he saw at the same time so many inauspicious things, both while being awake and while in his sleep also. So some of the inauspicious thing was he goes and sees himself in the mirror, but he could not see his head, although his head is there. Similarly, everything like the sun and other things, he is seeing all twice, two things like the lights and all. Then he also when he turns and sees his shadow is missing. Means in the sense like he could see some holes in the shadow, or sometimes the shadow itself was not there. And then in the dreams when he goes to sleep, he thinks he was carried away by a carriage of drawn by donkeys. And some he also feels that dreams that someone is feeding him poison, and he was happily drinking it. And then he feels that he was being beat naked by garland of flowers. All these are inauspicious signs which are mentioned in the different scriptures, or by general folklore, that he sees all of them. And he could then understand that his death is certain. And in that great anxiety, he could not take any rest in the night. And then, but finally, after he wakes up, he arranges for the wrestling match the next day. And then he understood that the how formidable Krishna and Balaram are. But then he wants to stop them from entering the wrestling field itself, because once they enter the wrestling field, the king sits right there, and they have direct access to the king. So he tells his soldiers, take the the elephant's name is Kuvalaya Pida. He orders them to stop Krishna and Balaram at the entrance and kill them. So the elephant caretaker, he goes on, sits on the elephant, and he, with his mahout, or like the thing that he puts on the elephant, he agitates it and orders it to kill Krishna and Balram. And of course, that elephant is not an ordinary elephant. It has the strength to kill hundreds of elephants within very easily. And that elephant was also Jarasandha's elephant. And one day when Kamsa was walking, he comes face to face with Jarasandha's elephant, and he throws that elephant very far away with a single throw. Jarasandha was very much astonished, like the strength of Kamsa, and he immediately gives his two daughters as wives to Kamsa, and he also gives Kovalapida as a gift, as a marriage gift. And from that time onwards, this elephant has been there in Kamsa's kingdom, protecting him. And Krishna fights with that elephant, tries to catch him with the trunk, but he immediately goes between the legs and pulls his trunk, so it falls forward. And when it falls forward, the tusks hit the ground, and he immediately pulls one of the tusks out, and he starts beating all the soldiers and the trunk and the elephant with it, and he pulls the caretaker down, the person who is controlling the elephant down. He kills him, and he lands on top of the elephant. He beats that with a tusk and kills the elephant. And he also, in between, grabs hold of the elephant's tail and turns it around like that. And so the entrance was clear. Then he goes into the arena. And once Krishna enters into the arena, both Krishna and Balaram, he appears as different person to different people. So we can see that Krishna, uh, there are different rasas in which we can associate with Krishna, and it's not always favorable. There are people will look at Krishna favorably and they look at Krishna unfavorably also. But for the wrestlers, he looked like a thunderbolt. To the people in general, he looked as a very beautiful personality. And for the females, he looked at the most attractive male who is Cupid personified. And to his cowherd men, he was his own kinsman, like his friend. And to the impious Kshatriya kings, he appeared as the strongest ruler and their chastiser. So they were very much agitated within their heart also, or very much afraid. And to the parents of Krishna, which is Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, and he appeared as a very loving child, which is the Vatsalya Rasa. To Kamsa, he appeared as death personified because Kamsa has always been this person who is against the Supreme Lord, and he was trying to um, fight with the Supreme Lord. So Krishna, if we are like Kamsa, atheistic, or if we are like Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha, Krishna will come, but he will come as death. And to the unintelligent people who don't know real Krishna, who are like the Maya Pahrata Gnana or Moodas, Naradamas, uh, they don't even see Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They think that he is some ordinary personality or he is like incapable person. If we don't know somebody's greatness, why will we follow? First of all, we have to know his greatness. So all these things that we are doing in this discussion is for us to understand how great Krishna is and how, even though he being the Supreme Lord, he came for us to bring us back home, back to Godhead, out of his causeless mercy. And he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, giving us the process also in this Kali Yuga, where we are don't have the ability, like the yogis who see Krishna as a super soul and meditate on him. We don't have that ability. But then we just take this ordinary process of easy process of chanting, and that will give the tremendous benefit. And for the members of the Vrishni dynasty, he appeared as a celebrated descendant. So in whatever rasa we associate, Krishna will reciprocate. If we want to fight with him, Krishna will fight with us. But if we want to render service to Krishna, and he will immediately reciprocate, like all the examples we have seen. And then when he enters into the arena, the wrestling arena, uh, a wrestler, he is a world famous wrestler at the time. His name is Chanura. He invites Krishna and Balaram to wrestle. He says, Krishna, you fight with me, and Balaram, you fight with Mustika. He is also my strong opponent who fights with me. And Krishna was ready to wrestle, but then he knows the time, place, circumstance. He did not want to appear as show his pride. He says, "Oh, I didn't know. I'm a small. We are small boys. Our age is very less compared to yours. You are wrestling like big guys and very aged. We have been practicing this for. You have been doing this for a very long time. We also don't have the strength." He declines to fight. But then Chanura insists, giving all the examples. So Krishna, don't say like that. We know you are the supreme person. We know how strong you are, all the demons that you have been killing, and how you killed Kovalapida, who can throw 100 elephants away and kill them in a single blow. And then Krishna again tries to say, "Oh, I did not do anything. When I was elephant was trying to kill me, I was hiding between the legs, and it was trying to find me, and it slipped and hit the ground and broke his tusk, and it killed by itself." So he was telling all this, but Chanura, he says that no, you have to fight. So then he accepts the challenge and they start fighting. They start fighting, and all the residents of Mathura who came to see, especially the women of Mathura, they become very much agitated. They see these two little boys. They are not even matching the strength of Chanura and Mustika, and see how they are trying to kill these small boys. And Krishna was perspiring, and they get attracted to these residents. They see how Krishna is beautifully perspiring, and they discuss again. Discussion always goes back to the residents of Vrindavan. They again goes back and discuss how fortunate are the residents of Vrindavana. They always get to see Krishna again face to face every day like that. And meanwhile, Krishna and Balaram see the how worried especially the women in the audience are, and they immediately start just like Narsimha initially plays with Hiranyakashipu until his time arrives. Sometimes the Supreme Lord wants to have this playful fight. He fights with Chanura and Balram with Mustika, and finally they kill them with a couple of blows, and they fall dead right away. And looking at them, there are other great wrestlers by the names Kuta, Shala, and Toshala. They come forward, and Krishna and Balaram kill them very easily. And when that happens, the remaining wrestlers run away out of fear for their lives. And the cowherd boys come and congratulate Krishna and Balaram. And in that happiness, even the residents of Vrindavan start blowing all the kettle drums, the horns, make loud noise, tumultuous sounds, and all. They don't even care that they were in front of the king, and they start celebrating. And Kamsa was looking at all these things, and he could not handle this anymore. He becomes so much frustrated with the celebrations, and he immediately orders his soldiers um, go and he is now understood what's happening. He knows that he might not be able to kill them, and he says, first drive these people out, or defend them from this, drive this from this palace. But he wants to show this anger, and he says that let's kill Nanda and Vasudeva and Ugrasena in the meantime, so that will make these two kids very unhappy. As soon as Kamsa orders his soldiers to kill Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva, and Ugrasena, Krishna immediately becomes angry. He jumps with one jump onto the dais of Kamsa where he was sitting. And Kamsa, he already got his glimpses. He understood his death is near. He was ready with his sword, and he immediately takes his sword out. Before he could strike, Krishna holds his hand, and he strikes his crown down, and his hair falls apart, and he grabs hold of the hair and pulls him down from the dais onto the wrestling field. And Krishna beats him over and over and again. Doesn't spend much time, because uh, he was uh, already saw how agitated the other residents of Vrindavan were. And main thing is he Kamsa ordered the killing of Nanda Maharaj Vasudeva and Agrasena. That made Krishna very angry, and he strikes Kamsa. Within a few strikes, Kamsa loses his pranavayu, the life air, and he loses his life. But then Kamsa gets Sarupya Mukti, means the same form as the Narayana form. People might wonder, why did Kamsa get Narayana form? Of course, Putana get liberated. The Sayujya Mukti means like merging into the effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti, and the florist god, the weaver god, the Sarupya. Why did Kamsa get the Sarupya Mukti? Because Krishna says, right, whatever you keep thinking, that you will achieve. So from the moment Krishna was born and he was hearing, Kamsa was always meditating on Krishna only, but not in um, the favorable mode, but in the unfavorable mode. So in essence, what we can understand is that if we keep thinking with Krishna as a devotee, then we'll go to Golok Vrindavan. But of course, if yogis keep focusing on the transcendental form, the yogis need not go and sit in the forest. If they are also having this mood of fighting with Krishna, they also will get the Narayana form. But these are like exceptional cases where we cannot want to become like Kamsa. If we want to become Kamsa, Kamsa has been very powerful. And I think this great question came up, and it was a nice realization for me also when Mataji was answering, or Prabhuji was answering, that how come Kamsa being a good king, he was immediately become a bad person. So in the material world, we have the three modes: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Even though we are in the mode of goodness, one small thing can happen and we can fall down from there. So if we are not in the in devotion, if we are not in the mode of Vishuddha Sattva, which is the mode of transcendence, then mode of goodness is not enough. There are so many people in the society who say that, oh, I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing my duty, and what is there for me to need, I need. But when their self-interest comes into jeopardy, means someone challenges their position or their opulence or their respect or their pride, they fall down. They immediately fall down. And here, Kamsa was, even though he was trying to be a nice king, he did so many bad things. He did not become the king uh, nicely. He put Ugrasena in the prison, and he took over the kingdom by force. So all these things happened. But anyway, the coming to the point is that the mode of goodness is not enough. That we can fall down anytime from the mode of goodness. we have to seek the devotion of the Supreme Lord and come to the mode of transcendence. And to wrap up the whole thing, the Kamsa also had 8 brothers, headed by Kanka. They rushed towards Krishna to kill them. Of course, as per the Vedic scriptures, Krishna was Kamsa's nephew, and a nephew was not supposed to kill his uncle. But out of there are some exceptional cases where Krishna will bend the rules. But what we have to understand is, just like when somebody is breaking the rule, when somebody is speeding in the highway, the cop has to drive faster than the other person to overcome that person and stop him. The person who is looking cannot say, "Oh, why is the cop driving fast?" So ultimately, whether there is Swadharma or Sanatana Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma is the topmost. Whatever Krishna decides is the topmost. Even though there might be some ritual or something that is mentioned in the scriptures, if Krishna says that this is what you have to do, if we follow that, then Krishna is there to protect us. So same thing. Even though it is recommended that and if you should take care of the uncle, Krishna kills his uncle. But then Balaram comes in and he stops Krishna from. I mean, Krishna lets Balaram take care of the remaining 8 brothers because they are also his uncles. But then they are not uncles of Balaram because Balaram is born of Rohini, who is other wife of um, Vasudeva and not the direct sister of Kamsa. So they are not his uncles. So Balram takes care of the remaining 8 brothers one after the killing, just like a lion kills a flock of deers. And after the 8 brothers are also killed, the demigods shower flowers from their respective planetary systems, which includes Brahma, Shiva, everyone, and congratulate Krishna. But then the wives of Kamsa were very much aggrieved at the sudden death of their husbands. And you see how learned they are. They themselves say that, oh, our husbands did wrong things. That's why they got punished. And Krishna immediately becomes affectionate towards his aunts and solaces them as much as possible, giving them nice words. And then finally, Krishna and Balaram, they release Vasudeva and Devaki from the prison. And then he falls at their parents' lotus feet. So we know that Vasudeva and Devaki, they saw Krishna how he was born, that he was born with the 400 form, and they know from the beginning that how opulent it is the Supreme Lord, that is Krishna and Balaram. So when they were released, they were overcome by that respectful attitude, that Aishwarya Bhava, that respect nature. So they don't hug or embrace Krishna and Balaram. They instead make them stand up and in turn offer prayers to Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna and Balaram doesn't like that because they came here to enjoy that different rasas, right? And they want that Vatsalya rasa with Devaki and Vasudeva also, not just with Ananda Maharaj and Yashoda. So they immediately Krishna expands his Yogamaya influence on them, and then just like they go Vasudeva and Devaki, they uh, go to into this Vatsalya Bhava, they immediately embrace Krishna and giving him instructions and say that, hey Krishna, now we rescued you. I mean, you rescued us. Thank you. Or very happy. Uh, Now let's arrange for your Brahminical ceremony where they get the sacred thread and then they tell go and join Gurukula and they give all the instructions. And in the meantime, he also establishes Ugrasena back as the king of Yadu dynasty, and Krishna promises that his protection will always be there, and all the kings accept Ugrasena as the king. And then, based on the instructions of Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna and Balaram, they accept the brahmacharya and they go to Sandipa Muni's ashram, and they are quick learners. So they learn all the 64 kalas in 64 days only, 64 days and nights, which includes how to control the mind, how to solve different puzzles, how to do hypnotize, how to use the weapons. Everything is being taught. And finally, after that is done, Krishna and Balaram approach Sandipani Muni and say how what we can do to satisfy you. Only a few days back, that Sandipa Muni loses his son when he goes for swimming in the water, and then he says that he knows Krishna and Balaram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he says that, "Can you bring my son back?" So Krishna and Balaram, they go to the edge of the water and orders the Varuna Deva to bring the thing, and he says that um, the actual the boy was swallowed by um, a shell demon by the name Panchajanya. You can go and get try to get from there. So Krishna dives deep. It's very very deep in the water. He kills the demon, but he looks inside. That boy is not there anymore because he is completely gone right by the time. And he also takes that shell, and that becomes his conch shell. Then he goes to Yamaraj and he orders Lord Yama to bring his son back. And Yama knows that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he immediately returns his son back. Krishna brings his son back. So we can see that even the Lord of Death is under the control of the Supreme Lord. And there would be a saying that, oh, you cannot bring anybody back from death, but it is Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead. He can do anything and everything. He can do whatever he wants. So he can even bring a dead son back. So he brings him and gives it to his uh, spiritual master, and they become very happy, and that he fulfills the desire and he goes back. So that concludes the pastimes of Krishna entering into Mathura, and then finishing killing of Kamsa, and then finishing of his going to Sandipa Muni to do his Brahmacharya Vrata. Any questions, comments, realizations, or you want to share? Please share. Okay. If not, we'll
Hare
say
Krishna.
yeah, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dhanwad
Krishna.
Prabhuji. It was a
Dhanwad.
nice session. Prabhuji, I have a question regarding the Sandipani Muni's son, like Lord Krishna bringing him back from Yamraj. So, I mean, immediate after the living body, he might have taken other bath, Prabhuji, or he was in astral world itself. Only soul was present without body, and Krishna brought him back.
So that's a good question. So Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? He can do whatever he wants, and this is where, like, going back to how Krishna disappears from the world, also, uh, it is very much confusing or bewildering to the ordinary people. But for the devotees, it's not very difficult. Krishna can create a subtle body and gross body out of the blue, like himself. He has all energies are in his hands, right? So even though the body is digested by the conch shell, uh, the subtle body is with Yamaraj. He creates the gross body right away for the child, and he brings back to the Sandipama.
I'm not sure. Yeah. And probably another question, like the concept which Krishna is holding, so after killing the demon, so he started holding that after killing the demon, or that Panchajanya was already there? I mean, how is the logic? Like Panchajanya might be in the Golok Vrindavan also, right, Prabhu? So,
Yeah. So he collects it. So that is everything that is there in this material world somehow or other would be there. So either in a manifestation or like a distorted reflection. But this Panchajanya is the material from material standpoint, that is a conch shell that this demon. If you see the scraps and all, right, as they make this shells their home, the shells keep growing along with the crabs inside. So same thing, like this Panchajanya is a huge conch shell that is being resided by this demon, and Krishna collects it.
thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, correct. Any other questions, or Mataji, anything you want to add? Hare Krishna, Kalin? Okay. So we'll say Hare Krishna Mahamantra once and we'll close with this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Bhagavan
Krishna,
Sri
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
It was a nice session, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Let's all thank His Grace Patitapavana Balaram Prabhuji. Though he is in India in his busy schedules, he gave some time to narrate these beautiful pastimes in an amazing way. Let's all thank him by saying 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari
Right.
Bol,
So,
Hari Bol.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Let's all meet in tomorrow's Krishna Kathamrita. Thank you. Hare Krishna, all the devotees.
Hare Krishna.